Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Friday, guys. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Friday, guys. So I want to chat with you guys about move your body. It is what it sounds like, but it's not. I got a download on the nature trail earlier, and I wanted to elaborate further on that. But right before I hit record, my good sis Ivy had commented on the video from yesterday in regards to, I think I titled it something like Stuck Between a Hard Rock and Shell. Basically, it's about God increasing your faith right now more than ever. And so she commented on it, and her comment states, and I pinned it, even when he is late, he's right on time. They told Jesus that Lazarus was ill, but he didn't go to heal him as was expected, but sat still until 4 days after he was buried. However, as soon as he showed up to the graveside of Lazarus, he who had been dead for 4 days came back to life. God has a set time for our manifestation. The kingdom life makes no sense to the natural man. Now this right here is, we cannot access certain realms of glory until we allow God to increase our faith capacity. This, don't get me wrong, this entire comment is everything, right? But this sentence right here, we cannot access certain realms of glory until we allow God to increase our faith capacity. It's not a fun place to be. It's like going through the goldsmith's fire. Until the Lord sees his image reflected in our lives, we remain in the fire. But when we begin to shine, he showcases us and brags with us big time. Now, Ivy just have a way with words in general, right? Her word game is just crazy. She can hear one of my recordings. She breaks it down from from a biblical standpoint, and it's just like straight fire. We cannot access this is something that I'm learning, because the process. It's like you can't start the process and see it from finish to end. I'm not speaking about God giving you a revelation of the promise. I'm speaking about the process to get there. It's like you'll be on one level, and you think you kind of not that you've mastered it, because you'll never master it, but you think you kind of got like an idea of how big certain things are. And then the next level, God will expose you to more, and he will make it clear to you that it's even more and even more and even more. So your process and your increase on each level. So the video that I made on yesterday was exactly what she stated about we can't access certain levels of glory. It is something, it is what it is, just like she said, but I'm trying to say what I feel in my spirit. It's like, in this season right here, first of all, certain things that we're waiting on is great, is grand, but it's even more. It's even more than the current things that we're waiting on. But what I've discovered right now in this season, God is not going to open certain doors until we 100% believe him. Not 95, not 98. Because at that 95, 98, yeah, you really do believe it. Seriously, like you really believe what God says. But it's something that flesh will still creep up, and you're still checking back on something, or you're still questioning, like, ooh, wait a minute, now the time is close and I still haven't heard. I'm talking about 100%. For some of these manifestations that's about to happen, I'm talking about your own mama can't talk you out of it. You got to know that you know that you know that you know. I don't care what it looks like in this physical fleshly realm. It doesn't matter if it looks like the complete opposite of what God has said. You got to lock on that thing, and you got to trust God 100%. And this is where a lot of people are. This is not for everybody, of course, but this is where a lot of people are right now. This is why God have went silent on you. Not silent in the feeling of it feels like he rejects you or he rejected you. Well, he don't do that, but sometimes God will go quiet on you if you're making your head hard. So it's not that. It's just It is this place of peace where you know that you know that you know that God have been clear and told you, you better not put your hands in it in any kind of way, and you're okay with it because you trust him 100% now. If you're in that group where you're just in this place where it's quiet, and I mean, you know that things are happening, you can feel it happening in the spiritual realm, even though there's nothing in the physical that says it's happening, but you trust God 100% to the point that you're not going to even try to pick that phone up to check on that thing. You're not going to try to make the door. You're not going to do nothing but stand. These are the people who God is about to shift to a new realm of glory. Because where a lot of us are going, we're going to be called to what's the word? Steward major things, major things. And we just can't, I mean, our ways can't even get up in this thing in no kind of way possible. So this is why God is getting you to the point now where you trust him 100%, because where you're going, you're going to have to rely fully, and I mean all caps, fully on God to move accordingly to the things that he's about to entrust you with. And we're human. So, you know, we get mixed up in all kind of way, right? But this is why he's really building you now. You cannot be elevated at 98% any longer. And I've had some doors open. I've had some doors open at 50% faith capacity. But those are at lower levels, right? Not really called to steward as much. The magnitude is not as large. It's fire. As Ivy said, it's going through the Goldsmith fire. It's fire. And this is why, again, the percentage is so small. Some of the people who you really thought were like made it with you, like they've already fell off, because it's fire. It's fire. But like she said, once you get to that level, God will show you. God will show you off. So the people that you're admired from afar, and you see how God is using people like all around the world, and these people's voices are being heard all around the world, etc. These people have been through some fire. They ain't that cute where God elevated them because they're more cute than you, or they're more they got more money than you, and this and that, and maybe their voice is more articulate than yours. Honey, no. They went through that fire and they didn't give up. Even when they had every right to, they didn't give up. But now God is showing them off. And this is what God is doing, or about to do in many people's lives. Many of you are going to literally be seen all around the world. If you like it or not, my little meek people who rather stay behind the scenes, if God is calling you to the forefront, you're going to the forefront if you like it or not. Right? Period. Right? Because it's not about you. Right? I'm not that person. I don't want to be up on nobody's stages. I'm too reserved for that. But if God says, you got to do this, you got to do this, I got to do it. I've done it. I've been on stages. I didn't want to be there because I'm more reserved. I'd rather be somewhere in the corner with a blanket reading a book. But many of you are going to be accelerated to a massive level. And when it all happens, it's going to all make sense on why that process was so strenuous, and why it was so long, and why it was so hot. Because it's hot. But those of you who are in the middle of that furnace, be encouraged, because there are other people such as myself who you're kind of like you're coming out, you're out of the furnace, right? But you're still warm. You can still feel them sparks, right? You can still feel them sparks. But be encouraged, because when you come out of like that the middle of the furnace, it's going to let up off of you. It's going to let up off of you. And you're going to get to this point that no matter what comes against you, you're going to truly be okay with standing and just allowing God to fight. And God, and he will. Seriously, he will. So keep pushing if you're in the middle of that furnace and that thing is burning you, because it's going to come a time where you're going to finally realize that your own hands will not work. Your own willpower will not work. And that's really what keeps you in the furnace just as long anyway, because God is still trying to burn that willpower and that pride up out of you. But you will spin your wheels one too many times, and you will finally be like, you know what? Let me just sit my behind down here somewhere and read a book. And just let God do what God's do on God's timing. And that is when God moves. It's so insane, but it's reality. When you got your hands trying to make it work, God is solid. He gonna let you do what you do. He gonna let your little feelings get hurt. He gonna let you be disappointed. He gonna let you run around in circles, right? And then the time will come when you're going to completely, and I mean 100%, move your hands up off of that thing, and God is going to move. Don't beat yourself up if you're still putting your hands, because it's a process. It's a process. So somebody like myself or somebody else who may be at the ending of that process or the ending of that furnace coming out of that fire, well, they can speak on it because they've been through it. You got to go through it. So don't get so disappointed that you just stop altogether because you feel like you just can't. No, you got to keep at it. There's my opinion. I don't know everybody's story, but there is absolutely nobody who go from the process from start to finish and don't have moments of wanting to give up or even giving up at some point, but the conviction comes and you get back to it. It's an ongoing thing. I think a lot of people just get so full of despair and frustration and don't see the results as quickly, so they just give up altogether, and then they just revert themselves back to level 1. But you gotta keep, listen, you drop the ball, you pick it back up. You drop the ball, you pick it back up. You fall, you get back up. You break your arm, you get back up. You break your foot, you get back up. You might have a good 6 months where everything is perfect. You get hit again, you fall down. Now you got a spiritual attack. Satan's now attacking your family. All right, battle that thing, right? You fall down, you get back up. You get back up. You get back up. There is just no smooth ride. You got to keep falling and getting back up. You got to keep falling and getting back up. That's how you make it out of the process. There is no smooth ride. Only the strong will survive this process, honey, to make it to destiny. Move your body. Okay, so here's the thing. When I went to the nature trail earlier this morning, right? Fridays are typically more slow. Not a lot of people out there, but today there was tons of people everywhere, right? So as I was sitting in my vehicle, just lingering for a few minutes, I was looking around, and this aha moment just hit me. There are people of different races. I mean, always, but today it just hit me, of different races, different ages, right? You got people out here who may be, 18, 19, who are just running, jogging, right? You got people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 70s and 80s, right? A lot of couples, elderly couples are in there out here really frequently too. You have people who are extremely fit. You have people who are 600 pounds. You got people walking with canes. You got people with knee braces. Like, it's some of everybody. And then I heard the Holy Spirit say clear as day to make this video about move your body. Now and again, move your body, right? Now, I'm not speaking so much about move your body for weight loss, and I'm sure that's for some people, but that's not what I got. It's very important to understand that exercising, walking, lifting weights, which is my favorite thing, lifting weights, etc., being in nature, like, it's about your mental. It's about clarity. There are so many benefits for being in the sun, right? Vitamin D, of course, it helps with depression and mental illness. It increases years on your life. Some people have researched and found, etc., right? But there's something about when you connect with nature or just working out, there's mental clarity. And with mental clarity, it allows God to really get certain things to you because you're clear. You're clear. There's something just opens up. where God has taken many people, you got to get yourself to the point where you're getting some kind of fitness in. And again, it's not so much about weight, but it's about your activity level, right? Some of you guys are going to be hopping on and off planes. Some of you guys are going to be having to go up and down steps. Like, God is really, really convicting a lot of people to really get their fit game back in check. It could be you've always been fit and you've been off of your game for quite some time, which was my thing. Just having too much fun, but God convicted you to get back on it. It's been 3 months back now for me. Some of you never, ever, 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 ever had a desire, but there's something that's a conviction that if you just do it one time, you're going to find a love for it. See, here's the thing. Ask God to give you a love for fitness, because it's not going to look like somebody else's fitness routine. So somebody else's fitness routine may be the gym, right? You have gym rats. I mean, they're there every day, right? I met a gentleman about 6 months ago. He's a gym rat, but he said that addiction runs in his family, and he felt like an alcohol addiction was sneaking up on him, but he wanted to like transfer that thing. So his addiction, quote unquote, his addiction is the gym, right? But ask God to give you your path of fitness, because when you ask God to do it, God is going to give you something that you love. See, most people don't stick to it because you don't even want to be there anyway. Like, for example, I was going to say hate, but I don't want to use that word. I dislike cardio. Thank God that I'm not a person who want to lose like all this weight, right? That's just not me. I've always been good with being thick. I've always been thick. Speaking of thick, let me say something really quickly, right? Because you ever hear people say things like big bones is not a thing or something like that. And I get logically they're talking about like bones, like seriously bones. Like if you look at an x-ray, everybody bones, I guess, is the same size. But let me tell you something. It's genetic. Everybody in my family, on my mother's side at least, all have big legs and big hips. Everybody. It's genetics. So don't let people tell you about, oh, well, certain things aren't genetics and everybody in your family is 600 pounds is not genetics. Oh, no. It can be genetics, but it doesn't mean you have to. It just means you're going to have to work more hard than the average person who may have the genetics of people who can eat anything they want to eat and they still got a six-pack. It's just genetics for them. Some people can't gain weight and want to gain weight. It's genetics, right? So it's not that is not genetics. It's more about God is calling you to start the process to change the pathway of your families, because maybe other people start seeing you get more fit, and then they'll jump on when they realize, like, wow, not only are you getting fit, your whole mental is different. You're more light, you're more fun, you're more airy, you got all this energy. Like, I want that, right? So again, chosen ones, you're called to change the cycle in many areas of your family. I was talking to both of my nephews about this earlier this week, because one of them is like really heavy in the gym. The other, I'm trying to get him in gym as well as therapy. And I'm speaking of that, I'm so glad that our black people are really waking up, especially our black men. Not to discredit any other race, but I'm trying to make a point here that they're really starting to wake up now and understand the importance of therapy. The importance of therapy. And therapy is not for everyone, of course. But we were speaking about how the gym is also a form of therapy. So everything that God is doing in convicting people to really start getting fit is not all about how your body is going to look. It's about clearing your mind, clearing your spirit, having that energy so you can receive everything that God is trying to get you to receive. Also, it is about your body, because many of you are begging for spouses or whatever. And listen, you already know what it comes with new, you know, you got to have some energy. You can't be, I'm tired. If you're waiting on people that God have ordained for your life, they're going to be addicted to you. It's spiritual. their spirit longs for your spirit. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual connection. They're going to be addicted to you. You can't be, my knees hurt, I'm tired, my knees hurt, I'm tired. Sis, it's been 2 months and this man still I don't even know where that come from, right? But you got to get up and you got to get yourself back together. Seriously. Because again, we keep asking for certain blessings, but we don't understand. We can't move like the average person. You got to do things differently and accordingly. Also, many of you are going to have very, very, very long lives, right? I was talking to this this Indian couple. They're in their 90s. Beautiful. Oh my God, beautiful couple. And these people are out here every day. And mind you, this trail have all kind of inclines, all kind of steep inclines and hills, right? These people are out here every day in their 90s, like out walking some of the 20-year-olds. So some of you guys are going to have extremely long lives, and you need to be out here at 120 and you still can walk. You're still moving your body. So it's like God is preparing people now. You might just be called to start getting yourself together at 70 because God knows you're going to be here to 110. But you got to pay attention to your convictions about what is God saying to you directly. God done told you to stop drinking all them. So God done told you to stop drinking all those sodas. See, another thing is true is a lot of things are truly ignorant in our community. Let's just be real here. A lot of things you just weren't taught because people just didn't have the information, right? But again, you're chosen. You answered. It is your responsibility to start Googling healthy recipes, healthy this, healthy that, right? A lot of people don't realize that the reason why you can't leave sodas alone is because you are addicted to sugar. It's not that you're addicted to soda. You're addicted to sodas, but you're really addicted to the sugar in it, right? You want to test yourself to see if that's the case? Then get some sparkling water and put some flavor into that sparkling water, just like some sugar-free drops. Put it into your sparkling water and see if you like it. If you can't drink it, it's because there is no sugar in it. So really, really, really start weaning yourself off of sodas, right? If you drink 5 sodas per day, drink 3 today. Drink 2 starting next week. The week after that, drink 1. And so on and so on. And before you